My name is Jan Slaski. I'm with Alberta Innovates Technology Futures out of Vegreville, some 500 kilometers north out from here. And I've been working with industrial hemp for the last 14 years. So what I'm going to do today, I will present our trials sponsored by or funded partially by ACIDF, our just provincial granting agency, and also this trials partially were sponsored by Western Grain Research Foundation. So now commercial is over. So now I will start. Before I start talking, I want to know who I'm talking to. So who is a real farmer grower? Any growers, any farmers? No. One, two, oh yeah, well. So you guys, I can see, yes, you're wearing also your company's shirts. So what is, I understand that you don't have prior experience. Who has ever seen or dealt with industrial hemp in the field? Two, three, you grew some. Who has dealt with non-industrial hemp in the basement? Hello? Yes, please. Why I started with this? Because just like typically I start talking about industrial hemp and I make this difference or differentiate between the two. Just like people are just like wandering, stopping by, and I have just like lots of off-site plots around Vegreville, and people stop and check out on this crop, right? So what we are dealing in here, we are dealing with industrial hemp. And what constitutes industrial hemp? Less than 0.3% of THC. So all varieties that we'll be showing you in here, and all varieties that are allowed to, for cultivation in Canada, have to have less than 0.3% THC, okay? Get this, what you are getting, and this real stuff in the basement, what's the THC content? Any guesses? Any personal experience?
1%? 7. 1%.
Up to 30%. Up to 30, typically over 20%. So we are talking about stuff that is 100 times. So don't try to steal this plant. They are good for nothing. Oh well, they are good for everything, but not for what you are thinking about. Okay. So industrial hemp. It is one of the oldest crops known to human beings. It's been cultivated or around us for 8,000 years, right? So it came from where? From Asia, right? So it's cannabis sativa, and this the other stuff, cannabis sativa subspecies indica, indicates that it came from India. And all these potent strains, medicinal marijuana as we call it, they originate from out there. Hemp came to Canada originally in the beginning of 17th century, over 400 years ago. Came with European settlers, and they were growing. They brought from Europe, of course, and they were growing for what? For food and for fiber. Our pioneers here on this continent, they survived because of hemp, industrial hemp. Why? Because as we will be showing you, hemp is a multi-purpose crop. So it delivers what? Fiber and grain. And these two components of the plant can be used or have been used extensively to support lives of our pioneers. Okay, so, and imagine that in the beginning of 19th century or 18th century, the crop farmers in North America were penalized for not growing hemp. Why? Because again, survival of early pioneers dependent on this crop. Provided fiber for clothes, for robes, for sails, you name it. Grain, for oil, for cooking oil, they didn't have WD-40, they were using hemp oil. Okay, so it was, hemp was for 400 years was a crop of choice and supporting life of North American pioneers. Then what happened in 1938, it was on the territory of North America was imposed Drug and Opium Act that banned production, cultivation, dealing with industrial hemp on the territory of entire North America. Why? Because of THC. 1938. And in Canada, this ban on cultivation, processing, dealing with processing industrial hemp lasted for 60 years. In 1998, here in Canada, and only in Canada, in the States is a different story, this ban was lifted. So here we are for last, 16 years, 17 years now, here in Canada, farmers, processors, producers are allowed to grow this crop. And this crop is picking up rapidly during last 5-6 years. We are getting increase in production in acreage 20 to 30% per year. And we ended up last year, Canadian acreage of industrial hemp exceeded 100,000 acres, was almost 44,000 licensed acres, and hectares, 44,000 licensed hectares. I said licensed hectares because hemp is a controlled crop. It's regulated crop. So it means that when Can wanted to put this crop in the ground, and when farmers want to put crop across the street, they have to get license from Health Canada. So why I mentioned that, because quite often I'm getting phone calls from producers, growers. Oh, I've heard that I can make money on hemp. Yes, you can, no question about that. However, you have to do your homework. So tell your guys, if you're just like a agrologist or a consultant, you have to start thinking about, when you start growing hemp, one of those varieties that we'll be showcasing today or others, tell them that they have to start thinking and getting ready in the beginning of January to get license. License is the only license, as somebody pointed out, is the only license in Canada that is for free. You don't have to pay for this license. However, it takes some time to get it. So that's what I'm saying. If you're planning, if you're advising your guys to grow hemp, start early, get license from Health Canada. Some farmers say, oh, no, it's 4 pages. Have you had problems with getting license?
Only when I screw up with paperwork.
Exactly. If you do so, just a year and a half ago, I delivered a webinar that is available online, and I just walk farmers, producers, whoever is applicants. I walk through the paperwork, as you said. It's fairly easy. Well, you can make mistakes, and they are really particular. As I said, free of charge license. However, you have to get it. Without this license, you cannot have this crop in the ground.
And you get to do criminal record checks on everybody in your organization. It's awesome.
Yes and no.
I did. It's awesome.
Yes. So now you know who you.
I know. My wife's good.
Your wife is, I have no doubts, although I haven't never met your wife. Anyhow, I go by assumption. Okay, so now we know a bit about hemp. So remember, regulated crop, fairly new. I call it a new old crop because it has been around for over 400 years. However, in modern history, it's around for last 17 years, since 98. So what happened when in 98, we will start showing you varieties that we are having in here. I will be just telling you about these varieties that are available around here. So what has happened in 98, when this crop was re-legalized in Canada and not in North America, United States is great advantage to our producers, and we have to keep this momentum going to take advantage of this crop and benefits to farmers, producers, processors, right? So what happened in 98 is a segue to this variety trial. there was nothing, no research, no breeding, no nothing happened in Canada. So all varieties in '98 were imported from Europe, mostly from Ukraine, from Poland, from France, some from Germany. So we started with varieties that were not bred for our prairie conditions, right? So, and we had, or farmers, producers had some, it's like a problems with varieties that were developed for other soil and climatic regions. So what I will be showcasing you today, all these varieties, but one, were bred here in Canada, primarily on the prairies. Actually, I would say that exclusively on the prairies. However, there's no variety so far that has been bred in Alberta. Manitoba and Saskatchewan are where breeders are located. I will be showing you one of our variety, which is over there. However, this variety was not bred in Canada. However, was evaluated for field performance, and we found that this is the best variety for our purposes. So I said that our pioneers survived on industrial hemp because it provided fiber and food. So you may hear that there are two types of varieties. One are, we call it grain type varieties, and they are typically short because producers, growers don't care about fiber. And actually, as of last year, here in Canada, we didn't have well-developed, established fiber market. And the other type is dual-purpose cultivars, or sometimes we call them fiber-type cultivars. They are typically very, very tall, produce a huge amount of fiber and biomass, and that's why I think Jamie came up with this title. What's the title of our segment? Run Through the Jungle, right? Yeah, well, it doesn't look like a jungle here, but if you come to Vegreville, or even better to Faller, you will see 14 feet crop on our fields. Okay, so remember, two types of varieties. And one more thing before we start looking at this plot. Hemp is, in a natural state, is the dioecious crop. What does it mean? That has well-defined male and female plants, or plants that have a male and female and male flowers on separate plants. However, I will show you 4 varieties that are monoecious. So breeders, including ourselves, develop varieties that have that are hermaphroditic. So it means that they have a male and female flowers on the same plant. Why is so important? Because if you come in here in 2 months, you will see big difference between male and female plants, right? Have you seen this difference? What variety did you grow? Finola? X59. You saw this. What are male plants good for?
Nothing.
No, they are good for pollination. And this is, I always say that this is like a biological rule. Males are good for pollination. Once they pollinate, they start dying off, right? They start dying off, and they are good for nothing. So it means, that's biology. Right? So if you see, and we will be seeing on the other, taller plants, you will see, and I will be asking you to identify a male and female plants. And as you said, what's your name, by the way?
Josh.
Josh, as Josh said, after pollinating, male plants started dying off. What does it mean? If you grow for grain, so it means that you are planting 1 acre and you are collecting a yield from 3/4 of an acre. Depends on sometimes some varieties they have as many as 50% of male plants, right? So it means half of what you are growing, what you are seeing in here, won't be yielding. Same for fiber, because for fiber we need to have homogeneous stand at harvest, and male, as we said, they are dying off and they disappear by time of harvest. Okay, so now you know more or less about hemp. So now I will be showing you this 15 varieties that we are having in here. These are, as I said, new varieties that were, or newer varieties that were bred in here in Canada. Here in Alberta, this first 4 varieties that we are showing in here, up to I think up to here, these 4 varieties predominate in Alberta. The highest acreage as of last year was ceded to a variety Finola. It's a dioecious variety, originated from Finland, as the name might suggest, and it is a dioecious variety. What does it mean? As I said, you're seeding 1 acre and collecting grain or fiber from a fraction or portion of it, I would say, right? So Finola is predominantly grown in Alberta. 70% out of over 10,000 hectares grown last year, 70% was grown to Finola, and is primarily grown, or the largest contributor to this acreage is Roland Seeds out of Tabor. Now Josh said that you grew hemp nut X59, right? No, you grew. Sorry, you grew.
X59, yeah.
So you had X59. This variety was developed, or is a breeder comes from Saskatchewan. The owner of this variety is Terramax, and this variety is gaining popularity. Actually, here in last year in Alberta, we had like 1.4, 1.5 thousand hectares. In Canada was over 11,000 hectares. Big portion, one fourth of the crop was grown to X59. Remember, gaining popularity. Large seeds, taller variety than Finola. Finola is why it was like so popular and appreciated by the farmers, because we didn't talk, Josh, we didn't talk about harvesting, right? Which is as hemp growers identify harvesting as the most difficult activity on their farm. Why? Because when you grow hemp, particularly taller hemp, and you grow it for grain, you're getting wrapping problems. I was told, and I witnessed that new combines, they can handle hemp and wrapping very well. However, farmers still, grain farmers still prefer short varieties. So Finola started already flowering, and we'll be, as I said, we'll be checking male and female plants over there. Smaller seeds, farmers, growers, and processors prefer hemp with larger seeds. Why? Because when they are dehulling, they are getting more value out of it. So X59, taller, larger or large seeds, gaining popularity. CFX2, it's another variety that is owned by Hemp Genetics International here in well, I would say Saskatchewan, and it's also taller variety, larger seeds, maturing in about 103 days, which is really good. And then Finola, by the way, matures in around 100 days, so it's also quite good. CRS1 is we will start moving. CRS1 is another variety owned by Hemp Genetics International. Also, it was grown in last year in Alberta, just like in small quantities or small acreages, and is gaining popularity in Canada as well. CFX1, very similar to CFX2, 105 days, larger seed, just like a medium height. Here I was telling you about differences in height. Finola short, CFX and X59, or hemp nut indicating that it's like a large seeds, are taller. And here I want to make a disclaimer. We are talking about hear about, we are visiting plots in Lethbridge. We are running these trials in Lethbridge, Vegreville, and Falaise in the Peace. And guess what? Last year data, which I think that I provided in our handouts, you can see that plants grown the same variety, even Finola, grown in the Peace Country is 30 to 50% taller than grown in here. Same variety. Although in Falaise, they got way less rain. They got 80 millimeters of rain during growing season. Why so? Why the same variety in Lethbridge is it's like a 30% or more shorter than out there? Why? Because hemp is a short day plant. What does it mean? That it grows, elongates, grows up and up and up as long as days are long. When they start getting shorter, like today, or today's, yesterday. Yeah, so they will start flowering. So, and last night I compared daylight in here between Lethbridge and say Falaise or Fort Vermilion when I have another set of plots. It's like over 3 hours differences in daylight. And these long days out there prevent flowering, hemp from flowering, hence hemp can grow up and up and up. So the conclusion is that in the south, hemp can be efficiently grown for grain, and if you want to grow for fiber, go up north. Why? Because you're doing the same variety and you're getting 50% more yield, fiber yield, right? Okay, CFX1, Dolores. This is like a really thin stand, Dolores. And I don't know what happened. I got the seeds. And 4 other varieties are monoecious. Monoecious, remember, male and female flowers on the same plant. So it means that you're getting uniformity. At harvest, you will having homogeneous stand. You're not having males that are, just like disappearing or dying off. In here, we had some problems, and as I said, it's owned or developed by Parkland industrial hemp growers out of Manitoba. Taller varieties around 150 centimeters in Manitoba, so it will be over 2 meters in the north. Canada, another dual purpose. I would call it dual purpose, although they claim that it's like a grain variety. If you're getting variety this tall, you're getting substantial volume of fiber. And fiber, we are talking about grain that is a primary driver for the crop right now. 99% of the Canadian acreage during last several years was grown for grain and was contracted by 2 major hemp processors, both out of Manitoba, Hemp Oil Canada and Manitoba Harvest. If you go to any grocery store, you will see hemp hearts. Who has seen hemp hearts? Okay, more than marijuana. Okay, excellent. So you're just like doing fine. So this is from Manitoba Harvest, and they all, well, I always recommend growers who are just coming to me, I want to make money on hemp. Do you want to make money on hemp? Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to make money on hemp and otherwise. And I always recommend you have to get contract from major processor. We have a bunch of small guys who are processing hemp, grow just like 20 acres, 40 acres, and they process in their garages during winter and then go to farmers market and try to, probably you saw in your on farmers market this homemade hemp products. I will advise against. Why? Because they don't have control over quality, and E. coli contamination with E. coli, particularly if you're dealing with food products, can be an issue. Why? Because birds poop on hemp, and then E. coli bacteria gets to the food chain, right? Canada, as I said, Parkland industrial hemp growers, owners, taller variety, fairly new. We didn't have in Alberta last year. Joey is another monoecious dual purpose. I call it dual purpose variety, again 160, 150 centimeters tall. This is Silesia. It's a different beast. This is why it is a different beast, because it's mine. And we market this and introduce this variety as dual purpose with the obvious interest from the fiber growers and contractors. This variety, as I said, is up to 14 feet tall in 90 days. In 90 days, right? So we are having now, as I said, fiber industry is picking up, and we will be propagating and growing this variety for fiber processors. The closest one is going to be here in Chin, close to Tabor, and I spoke with the investors last week. And for those of you who were asking if Stemia is still going to be just building up this facility, yes, I got confirmation that they are waiting for last contracts to put up this processing facility in Chin, Alberta. So Silesia, very tall, very decent seed yield. However, we are just like marketing this as fiber oriented oriented variety. Grandma is another variety that is fairly new, or it's just like a new. Grandma, you're smiling. Why you're smiling? Tell me. Funny name, eh?
Funny name, yeah.
Okay, and then we have Kanma, Grandma and Kanma. You know, it's like let me start from Kanma. Kanma, quite often hemp varieties are named after cannabis, right? Why Ma? Because this variety was developed and is maintained by Larry Marshall out of Saskatchewan. So cannabis Marshall. However, Larry didn't realize that Ma in Chinese. Do we have any people speaking Mandarin here? Oh, come on. No? Ma in Mandarin means fiber. So it looks like Larry called this Canadian fiber, because in Mandarin hemp is da ma, means big fiber. Grandma, it was named Ma after fiber, and gran means big, right? This cultivar has big seeds. So they want to advertise or orchestrate big seeds. New variety, perhaps you have never seen or heard of, is been allowed for cultivation in Canada. So they are just introducing and trying to have something. Hemp Oil Canada wants to have something similar to Finola. Will be a bit taller but with larger seeds. Grandi, these last three varieties, they are from Hemp Genetics International, and they are, again, names would indicate behavior or appearance of these plants. The first is Grandi, the tallest of tree of all, larger seeds. On the other hand, Piccolo is very short, easy to harvest, but seeds are smaller. And finally, Katani is the third newly released variety by Hemp Genetics International, and it lies something in between Grandi and Piccolo. So this is first time, actually these last three varieties, this is first time we are growing them. So I have, I don't know how they are going to, just to perform. I'm looking at this varieties closely, and they are just like this three last varieties are dioecious, so male and female plants, which gets me to segue to our seeding date trials. So who were smiling? You were smiling, right? Come over here. Can you come over, please? Yes, you. How many minutes do I have? 10? Oh, I have candies. Okay. 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 So I was telling you that dioecious hemp varieties, they have very distinct male and female plants. So can you identify two different types of plants in here? Okay, show me. No, it's the other way around. Okay, just these are not seeds. These are pollen sacs. This is a typical male plant. Look, guys. You know, just like those who have cattle, you should know what is that, right? Yeah, and no, great. You help yourself.
Thank you.
Oh, lollipop. Okay, I have even better good. Oh man, good goodies. Okay, so this is a well-developed male plant with pollen sacs. This lady will be having only. Excuse me. Will be. I need water. Will be setting up seeds. Will be set up only on these plants. So now come over closer and count roughly how many plants are male, how many plants are female. So we'll see almost every second plant will be a male plant, right? As Josh said, where is Josh?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm hiding. I seen this.
Yeah. So no, I know, but see, this is what I'm talking about. So keep in mind they were having male and female plants, dioecious and monoecious varieties in Finola. In my experience during last, as I said, 14 years, sometimes we're having as many as 50% plants, male plants, right? So that they will be at the time of harvest they will disappear, or they will be dry, and they will just like almost disintegrated. Okay, so this is Finola. On the other hand, this is X59. Same thing. Just like we are seeing male and female plants. However, they are not as many. Typically, X59 has, Josh, in your experience, how many, just like percentage-wise, how many would you say?
Third?
1/3.
Roughly.
Yes, that's correct. And look at let's move a bit. Josh, you deserve a, you. Yeah, and look at this. Look at this canopy. Can you come over here and find male and female plants? You will get entire bag of candies if you find one. So this is monoecious variety. It's as you can see, stand is very uniform. It will stay uniform till the end, till harvest. Okay. So that's the advantage of. So this is another. This is what? This is X59. As we remember, it is dioecious. So it means you can find male and female plants in here, right? So now what we are seeing in what constitutes a monoecious variety, you are allowed to have up to just like typically 2 to 5% of male plants, but not 1/3, not 50%. Okay, so this trial, what we are seeing in here is seeding day trial. You will see these tall plants, shorter plants, and plants are germinating. We designed this experiment to answer question. Farmers have question. How late can I plant my hemp and still get good yield, primarily of seeds? This is really important because, as I said, as Josh confirmed. Josh, by the way, you're just talking, so just okay. No, that's just excellent. Same lollipop. Remember, grain farmers, they want to have as short a crop as possible. Why? To reduce volume of fiber that can potentially they can tangle and just cause problems to. Yes, sir. No, are you a flax grower? Okay, it is comparable, but look, we are talking about volume of fiber that has to get through the combine, right? So I also work with flax, extensively with flax, right? So flax, you're just like harvesting at physiological maturity of the bulb. So sometimes you're getting this green stems. Here we are just also recommending to harvest hemp for grain on the greener side again, because the longer you leave stand the tougher fiber you're getting, and the possibility of getting into troubles are higher. Anyhow, so we wanted to check how seeding date or delayed seeding affects plant height. Remember what I said about that hemp is light sensitive, it's a short day plant. So imagine that if we are just delaying seeding, so we are expecting to have plants taller or shorter? Shorter. Candy, who said? Bravo. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. So, and as you are seeing, this nice looking crop, just green and lush and you name it. But farmers don't like it. They want to have as short as possible. And we are having, as I said, the same trials set also in the peace country. So remember, in the peace, longer days, taller plants, right? However, in here, I've heard that sometimes farmers in the south, they see that as late as beginning of July. And still, well, this is a risk, in my mind, it's risky business, but they still claim they can get crop. And in Manitoba, a few times it happened in July. Why? Because it's so wet, they couldn't access fields, and you name it, right? Here we want to show what's the difference. If we are having a fiber industry or fiber buyers and who will be contracting fiber, so where's your sweet point? When to seed, and we see that this May 9, May 25, and then June 8 or 9, this is what is right now germinating. We want to optimize and give farmers information. If you are just delaying seeding, you're getting such crop, you're getting such ratio grain to fiber, right? Here we are getting lots of already lots of biomass. However, it might not be welcomed by the growers. Okay. Can I have a sip now? Thank you. So questions regarding seeding date? Yes, sir.
What's the difference in yield loss? Like going later, are you seeing a yield reduction?
That's what. See, I have anecdotal information from growers that, as I said, in Manitoba, they couldn't get out because of just like soggy conditions. So this is the first time we are setting up these trials in here. This is first time Farming Smarter is running these trials. This trials, these experiments were requested by local area growers during town hall meetings 2 years ago in February 2014 or 14. And they asked, we are growing hemp. We are growing, actually, southern Alberta is a hub for growing hemp for grain. However, farmers quite often are shooting in the dark. Quite often, those who are growing for several years, they develop their, just practices. However, what I experienced, that they want to share with anybody. I'm doing fine, I'm making money, I'm not going to tell, not you, I'm just like I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing to get this crop. See, this is the mentality that I'm first to the market, I'm the grower, I'm making money, so I don't want to have other guys to make money on it. Our role as just like a sponsored by taxpayers' money, we want to, and we not want, we'll prepare a manual, grower's manual or guide for Alberta and for Canada. So it won't be the guys who are not willing to share with us all this information that will be generating from these trials across Canada, across Alberta, will be available for anybody who wants to grow industrial hemp. Okay?
The percent of seed that's fertile males completely variety dependent, or are you guys trying to reduce it from 50%? Like that seems like a lot of non-viable seed.
No, it's not non-viable seed. Plants that don't bear seeds.
That's
So it's
what I
not.
mean.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
So
50%. Like you
Yeah.
don't want 50% of your crop to not yield.
yes. So see, there are two schools. One, some European countries, we are going monoecious. We are getting monoecious. We want to have this homogeneous stand for fiber and for grain. And you remember what I said? Prairie industrial hemp growers out of Manitoba, all these 3 varieties that they are just like marketing, newly developed, are monoecious, right? However, other guys, they are very comfortable with dioecious varieties. So it is, just like a not philosophical dispute, because it is why not breeders don't develop monoecious varieties? Because, as I said, in natural state, hemp is a dioecious plant. So it will be having male and female plants, separate plants. To maintain a monoecious state, you have to do maintenance breeding. That's what I did, what I've been doing for several years. Every year I have to just like have my nursery, I have to make selection, remove these plants that are look like they have male appearance, remove from the nursery, and make sure that I am maintaining monoecious state. So maintaining and marketing dioecious varieties is way easier. You're just like you don't have to put extra pesos into maintaining monoecious state. So it is like a trade-off, right? So and again, some guys prefer or develop like Hemp Genetics International. All varieties they are releasing are dioecious. Parkland growers, all varieties are monoecious and the other are dioecious, right? Okay. And oh, sorry. You got your candy. Okay. Would you?
I don't do it for the candy.
It depends. If the question is too tough, you're not gonna get the candy.
Never concerned on
Okay, it's a very good question, and I will give you a semi-positive answer. So, what is semi-positive? That remember what I was talking about farmers that they keep cards close to their chests. Quite often, they don't want to share their data. 3 years ago, ARD, Alberta Agriculture, contracted a consulting company to do just hemp economics. So how to do it? Just like they sent questionnaires, and they try to interview guys who are growing hemp at commercial scale. Don't kill me, but they got like 6, 8, like just like a ridiculous number of responses. Why? As I said, the guys are quite often keeping cards close to their chest. On the other hand, and just like admittedly, at that time, we didn't have very many growers. Last year in Alberta, including Josh, we had 160 licenses to grow hemp released, so or granted. So it means that we had, well, less than, because each field has to have separate license. So we had over 100 growers in the province. I bet that now we can get, just like on average. However, I said semi-positive. However, whenever I go and whenever I talk to farmers, those who want to grow hemp, those who grew hemp, and I ask them, why do you want to grow hemp? Oh, because I've heard that I can make money. And those who are growing hemp, like Josh, why did you grow hemp?
Rotation, diversification.
How about money?
Partner
See, it's not bad. No, it's we have some. I can share with you some information, and again, they are just like a pretty. I cannot. I don't have information, or we don't. We are at present. We are not having information that will be across the board. I have information from those who are prepared to share their dollar values, their, data. So if you're interested, just like I can share this with you. Okay. Who wants candy?
Do you have any tips for
Well, yes. In this materials that Jamie, I think that I include. Oh, Jamie is gone. I included last year. We had variety trials here in Lethbridge on Cairns land, and we compared in here hemp 9 varieties that I am presenting in here, grown on under rain-fed scenario and irrigation. So when we were growing, and you can see this data, when we were growing hemp under irrigation, there's 9 varieties, grain yield was increased 3 to 6 times. Fiber yield was increased from like 30%, maybe in some varieties, just twice as much under irrigation. So we are learning. This is the first, or actually second year that we are growing hemp under irrigation. But my advice is good news to local area growers, farmers, that hemp is really, really responsive to irrigation, or grain yield is really, really responsive to irrigation. Speaking about water, hemp has to be grown on well-drained soil. It's like I was trying a few years ago, I was asked to set up trials in Drayton Valley, almost foothills, right? Lots of rain every day. So I set up trials, and I knew that it will be a problem. Why? Because when we're seeding, we're chasing off frogs from the plots. Hemp doesn't like wet feet. It appreciates water, but it has to be seeded when you have a poor drainage, poor drained soil. It won't establish. And indeed, that's what we experienced in Drayton Valley. Supposed to be just crop that's supposed to be 10 feet tall or 12 feet tall was, just a foot and a half. So remember, appreciates water, particularly for grain. However, doesn't like wet feet at seeding.
What about inputs like fertilizer?
We're getting to the next trial. Okay, so let's go. Help yourself to Candice. Come on. No? Oh, come on, you deserve. Oh, sure. Oh, very good question. Okay, man. Yes, I will, absolutely. No, it's
This is a week this morning.
What?
Yeah,
This is a week this morning.
okay. Let's stop here. This is a long. Okay, so we had.
No candy for me. Too early.
Oh.
Too early. Give it to that.
I
guy
have
who likes
beer
it.
too.
You have beer?
Oh yeah.
I'll take beer.
I'll take a
for
beer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
At 6. Okay.
Use fish shop.
After hours. Question. Before this is our fertility trial, so we will talk about fertility and inputs and other factors. However, we had a question here about
Yeah, just about standability as these varieties get taller. The issue, or does it decrease significantly?
see, it's a very good question. Never had problems with standability. Just like hemp is a fibrous crop, so unless you get gale winds, or just like there's varieties that I'm showcasing here, we've never had problems with standability. However, older varieties that I dealt with, they were really, some varieties were very prone to wind damage or physical damage. Those of you, well, just like I have in my PowerPoint presentation, I cannot show you in here. Hemp, next couple of days, will be growing, just like a 5, sometimes to 8 inches a day. Hemp is the second fastest growing plant on earth after bamboo. So, and this fast elongation happens in the beginning of July. So what happened, and I observed this regularly on some varieties grown in Vegreville, that when we got winds, just like gusting 70 kilometers an hour, at this stage, this couple of, I would say 10 days, plants are really, really sensitive because they grow really fast and they don't, just like they are really fragile and prone. Afterwards and beforehand, just they have enough lignin and enough fiber to support this structure. So I know for the fact that Just yes, it might happen to some older varieties that they were prone to damage. Here we will be observing. Here we are just like it's blowing every day non-stop, right? So we will be making observations. If there's the other thing related to that is hail damage. You will be seeing hail damage or hail simulation over there across the street. However, last year on July 9 in Vegreville, we got no simulation. It was like a holy smokes. It was hail like hell. Okay, very very big hailstorm. And again, I have pictures. I take lots of pictures. I took picture happened this morning and then next morning. Hemp was, as I said, July 9th. Fibre or dual purpose variety was this tall, and the next day after this hailstorm was 1/3. The top was like somebody used a sickle mower or hedge trimmer, cut everything. And I said, holy smokes, I have 14 acres of hemp grown for fiber because we have fiber processing facility in Vegreville. And I said, I have to write off this field. And as a matter of fact, our variety trials. And guess what? It survived. It started at this stage, as I said. Remember, it was very prone, this is the beginning of July, when it grows really fast. It's prone to physical damage in form of wind or hail. At the same time, it was early enough and hemp started growing secondary branches. So what we got, it was like a leader apical meristems were chopped off. However, in a couple of days, the branches, just like a secondary branches from the top, just 3-4 were just like emerged. And guess what? And we got yield, grain, and fiber. It was delayed, however, and fiber was lower quality. Why? Because the best fiber is in the leader, the main stem. Secondary branches typically have poorer fiber, but we didn't have to write off this. And what we also found, the damage of hail damage was variety specific. So the shorter grain type varieties, they were, although they received the same physical damage or potentially the same physical damage, they were not affected, or they were affected way less than the taller varieties that were growing really actively at that point of time. So I was talking to hail adjusters. Hemp, you have to consider and remember there are two types of hemp, the short and tall. So if you are just having blanket insurance policy, it might not apply because it's like this shorter varieties from our experience are less prone to hail damage. Again, depends on staging. However, this taller are more prone. So now let's talk quickly about our last. Yeah, well, too many questions, too many candies. Okay, so the last one is inputs. So we are just doing quickly nitrogen fertility trials. We're having from 0 to 150 nitrogen per hectare. We're having 3 varieties. 2 grain type is Phenola and X59, the most popular. We're also having Silesia, this fiber type varieties. Simply, some farmers they optimize their fertility regimes. However, we want to know what's the real response of these different types of hemp varieties. And we are talking here. Typically, when I ask farmers, so how do you, Josh, you're a typical kind of farmer. So how do you fertilize? How much nitrogen do you put on your hemp?
As much as I can afford.
Yes, absolutely. So some farmers tell me that it's they're putting like for canola, high-yielding canola or wheat. Hemp, what some people say, oh, hemp is a low demand, low input crop. Don't believe them. Just like getting a good crop, you have to put inputs. So here, as I said, if you come in a year or in 3 years, if you see our manual, if you see our data, it will be first set of trials, and we'll tell you if you have to put as much as you can, or if you're getting diminishing returns if you put over 100 or 120 kilograms per hectare, right? So at this stage, if you examine carefully, you might or might you will see some differences between low input nitrogen and high input. However, we want to check if this high input really makes sense. So Josh, I will answer your question. So last, because the other guys are coming, last what I want to talk about inputs, herbicides. People are asking me about herbicides. Tough. New crop. Chemical companies, just like, I know. You guys are quite often, we're approaching you, not you, but the chemical companies, crop that statistically doesn't exist, why we should get into it. Plus, this, some guys were labeling, oh, hemp, just like, indeed, it grows really fast, closes canopy, particularly this taller varieties, they close canopy, no need for herbicides. And majority, well, large acreages of hemp are grown organically. So because you're getting a premium, just like 80 cents, 85 cents per pound conventional, $1.43 per pound organic. Huge incentive to grow organically, right? However, now we have Assure 2 is registered for hemp. It used to be registered only for hemp for fiber. Now it's registered for, well, we are using for all kind of hemp, registered for grassy weed. There is lots of trials going on with bromoxynil for broad leaves. So hopefully next year we will be having, or farmers will be having in their toolbox, they will be having herbicides that can control. Until last year I said, no, there is no chemical control, nothing registered, including like a fungicide. I can talk more, so if you want, you can stay here and I will, because other guys are coming. So any questions? Sorry.
Experimented with any other chemicals yourself?
Yes, yes, I did, and we did again. What we are finding that different varieties respond to, and we tested 5 different chemistry types. Different varieties have different, sustain different injuries. Questions?
I know, but we gotta cut you off. I'm sorry. You'll be sticking around if you guys have more questions. Feel free.